Do you ever feel like you're constantly playing catch-up, always reacting to life instead of actively creating it? Like you're stuck in a swirling vortex of urgency where every day is a desperate scramble just to stay afloat? It's a suffocating feeling, isn't it? This relentless state of reactivity, where your energy is drained by external demands, leaving you utterly exhausted and perpetually behind? You might tell yourself it's just how life is, that there aren't enough hours in the day, or that your circumstances are uniquely demanding, but what if the problem isn't the world around you, but the way you're engaging with it? For years, I lived in that reactive mode. My alarm would blare, and I'd immediately check my phone, letting emails and notifications dictate the first moments of my day. I'd rush through my morning, fueled by caffeine and a growing sense of panic, always feeling like I was one step behind. My calendar was a battlefield of urgent appointments, my inbox a black hole of demands. I'd finish each day depleted, having ticked off a million boxes, but with a gnawing sense that I hadn't actually moved anything important forward. I was busy, yes, but not effective. I was responding to life, not designing it. This wasn't just stressful, it was soul-crushing. It felt like I was a leaf caught in a hurricane, tossed and turned by forces beyond my control. My personal goals, my creative pursuits, my deep connections, they all withered on the vine, suffocated by the tyranny of the urgent. The truth is, most of us operate from a default setting of reactivity. We respond to emails, answer calls, attend meetings, and tackle whatever crisis screams the loudest. We wait for external stimuli to tell us what to do next, but this isn't just inefficient, it's deeply disempowering. It strips away your agency, making you a pawn in someone else's game. The first sign you're trapped in this reactive cycle is constant urgency addiction. You thrive on the adrenaline rush of last-minute tasks, believing that true productivity only happens under immense pressure. You confuse busyness with effectiveness, and a calm, deliberate pace feels alien, even unproductive. You're addicted to the firefighting, to the drama of the deadline, and it leaves you perpetually stressed and chasing your tail. Second, you exhibit a profound lack of foresight and planning. Your calendar is a graveyard of forgotten intentions, and your goals are vague aspirations rather than concrete plans. You operate moment to moment, rarely looking beyond the immediate horizon. This isn't just about being unorganized. It's about a deeper inability to mentally inhabit your future, to anticipate challenges, and to proactively chart a course. You're sailing without a map, perpetually surprised by where the currents take you. The third sign is a pervasive external locus of control. You constantly blame external circumstances, other people, or sheer bad luck for your setbacks and lack of progress. You believe your life is primarily shaped by forces outside of you, rather than your own choices and actions. This isn't just a victim mentality, it's a profound relinquishing of personal power. You've convinced yourself you're a passenger, not the driver, and that belief paralyzes you. Fourth, you experience a recurring pattern of regret and missed opportunities. You often look back and think, I should have done X, or if only I had started Y sooner. This isn't just occasional self-reflection. It's a chronic ache, a constant replay of chances not taken, decisions delayed, and proactive steps never initiated. This regret is a direct consequence of a reactive mindset, where the future is always happening to you, instead of being shaped by you. And finally, the fifth sign is a persistent feeling of emotional depletion and burnout. Your energy levels are consistently low, your enthusiasm is dampened, and you feel a deep sense of weariness, even after a full night's sleep. This isn't just physical fatigue, it's the exhaustion that comes from constantly reacting, from being perpetually on defense, from having your vital life force drained by external demands without ever truly replenishing it through intentional action. The moment I truly grasped this insidious cycle was during a particularly brutal week. I had worked 14-hour days, put out multiple fires, and still felt utterly unproductive. Sitting there, staring at a blank wall, it hit me. I wasn't busy because I was important. I was busy because I was reactive. I was letting the urgent drown out the important. I realized that my problem wasn't a lack of time, but a lack of intentionality. This wasn't just about managing my schedule. It was about reclaiming my life, my agency, my peace of mind. It was about recognizing that I had choices, even when it felt like I had none. This wasn't a philosophical revelation. It was a deeply personal, gut-wrenching realization that my life was being lived for others, by others' demands, and I was merely a participant, not the conductor. The profound emotional shift came when I understood that proactivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, on your terms. It's about consciously choosing your response, about initiating rather than waiting, about becoming the architect of your own days instead of merely a resident in someone else's. It's about shifting from a posture of defense to one of creation. This insight forced me to implement small, consistent changes. I started dedicating the first hour of my day to my most important, non-urgent tasks: writing, planning, deep work. Before checking emails, I began scheduling thinking time on my calendar. treating it with the same reverence as a client meeting. I learned to say no more often to protect my boundaries, even when it felt uncomfortable. I stopped waiting for inspiration and started creating the conditions for it. The immediate result wasn't a sudden explosion of productivity, but a gradual, profound reclaiming of my internal landscape. The anxiety began to recede. The feeling of being adrift slowly gave way to a sense of purpose. I realized that freedom isn't the absence of demands, but the ability to choose how you respond to them. It's about cultivating an internal compass that guides you, rather than being swayed by every external gust of wind. So, are you merely surviving, or are you truly thriving? Are you reacting to the currents of life, or are you steering your own ship? The ultimate measure of your effectiveness isn't how busy you are, but how intentionally you are shaping your own destiny.